Welcome to Rewind with Ellen. I am your host, Ellen the Great, aka Ellen Winjiro.
And I am Rouget Carter, her co-host. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Like we never left, but we did. Oh my God. So we've been on hiatus for a minute, and that's largely due to me going away for a month and almost a half. Um, and I had high hopes to be live from Kenya, but that didn't pan out. That would have been so dope. But here we are. We're back. How are you? I've missed your face. I'm talking film with you. What's going on with you?
The face is still here. I have this monstrosity growing right now. Work people aren't really that fond of it. So anyway,
Okay.
I'm good. Got COVID on Christmas.
Good times.
Way to ring in the new year. But I feel good. What'd you say?
I said, wow, that's terrible. But was it rough? Was it like a 1 day, 2 day, week thing?
24 hours. That's it.
Okay.
But I want to thank the doctor that forced me to get the flu shot. I think that helped a little bit with the kick. And then I got to give a shout out to my mom for the old school remedies of just putting Vicks everywhere on your body, a hoodie on, and then just sweating it out.
That actually works.
It does. There's a lot of juices, and then but I'm somewhat like I'm healthy, somewhat. So in terms of like I have my drinks every morning and stuff like that. So I think that all plays a part. How you treat your body, right? At the end of the day.
Right. That's true. Absolutely.
So how was your trip?
My trip was amazing. So Kenya is where I was born. So it was essentially going back home. The last time I'd been there was 7 years. So I spent some time in Nairobi.
7 years?
7 years ago was the last time I went. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was long overdue. So I spent some time in Nairobi. I went to Kilifi, Voi, Malindi. The last three spots are in the coast. I did a safari. I frolicked in the Indian Ocean. Like it was a lot. It was a lot going on. It wasn't the turn up you might think it is. It was actually turned down, which I preferred, but just a lot of relaxation and just discovering some new things and some new opportunities. So it was amazing. So I have some pictures and some videos on my Instagram for whoever is interested in the trip. You could check out stuff there.
Yeah, not to be in your business, but I was like, okay, she's just having it because normally, if you follow Ellen, she turns up in DC. So this is a very tame and just enjoying family, having some good food. So I was like, all right. What was your favorite last thing? What was your favorite part of the trip?
I would say going to Kilifi, right? So Kilifi, Kenya is this area in Mombasa that not a lot of people, or should I say tourists, know about. And so I stayed in my brother's wife's family's house, and they were like second row from the beach. So it was just this flexibility to just walk 4 minutes to the beach, walk 4 minutes to just a row of just resorts and hotels and just funky spots, and just be and just disconnect. So I think my closest connection was in Kilifi. For a lot of other reasons I'm not going to go into right now, but yeah, but overall, just being home and just experiencing Kenya for what it is now. I kind of looked at it from a different perspective than I did 7 years ago, and even from before the time before.
I'm sure.
So it was life changing to some degree, which is crazy to say because I'm from Kenya, right? So I kind of attacked it as I'm not from here, so let me appreciate it from for what it is, and that was amazing.
But in this time, with the electronics, all communication, everything, 7 years to not go home, I can only imagine what that's like. It's like seeing a whole new thing,
Yeah, well, the thing is, my parents are here, right? They're here and they're there, and they go back and forth. So the only reason I would go back is if they're there. And so the last time I went 7 years ago was my mom's 70th birthday. So I met her there to celebrate with her. But now going back, I'm going to make an effort to go back every year. because Kenya is a country is popping. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of development. The infrastructure it's flourishing. So there's a lot going on in Kenya. Yeah. we will organize a trip for us to go. And I
gotta see I want to see it all. It looked beautiful. That's the thing, like escaping and
yeah.
seeing beautiful things and energy. That's what I loved it.
And I got you something, so I can't wait.
I have to send you my address. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. I can't wait. So how was your New Year's? What did you do? Ooh, can you not talk about that?
For the well, you know, people they ain't watching this. So I went to a party. I just covered, so you would think with COVID that you wouldn't be going out after
anywhere, right?
Yeah. So I cleared it just in time, everything, and I took tests again just so people aren't yelling. Oh, but you went out after. I was COVID free.
Okay.
And down in the seaport in New York City, they had an amazing place. It was like an Asian fusion spot, but they changed it into a big hall. So they had like a live DJ, live music, and then a live DJ. So it was just really cool, but spacious. So even I think it was only like a cap of like 150. So it was like beautiful, really well done. Everybody had their own room and space. So if you didn't want to be on top of somebody, and it was a mask thing, I did not wear a mask. I was like, all right, after 2 minutes, I was like,
okay.
Yeah, but it was beautifully done. Good energy. Yeah, it was perfect. I got home just in time. So yeah, how is New Year's out there? What's that like?
Oh, like quietly, I'm a little old lady, which is my sweet spot, which is my sweet spot. So I was back in Nairobi for New Year. So me, my mom, and dad just stayed home. And just watched TV. Like around 11 o'clock, my mom and I were like, we're going to bed. And then my dad, who's 84, is like, what are you talking about? You guys need to stay. We need to. And we're looking at him like, good night, sir. I'm like, all right.
What's the time difference?
Well, 8 hours. Yeah. Kenya's 8 hours ahead. So I think I was in bed. I think. Either way, I was in my pajamas.
Well, you made a New Year's in some part of the world. You made a New Year's. You were up for a New Year's.
I loved every minute of it. So yeah.
All right.
Nice. It is what it is. So we are back, and of course, our favorite fan Rashad is on.
Rashad, welcome! Happy New Year, brother! Yes, Rashad is in his house.
Happy New Year, Rashad. And so if you are watching, the only way we'll know that you are is if you comment, if you drop a comment, so then we can interact with you. So we'll keep shouting out Rashad because he's leaving comments, FYI.
Also, he's amazing, Ellen. You forgot that.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Listen, I reached out to Rashad ahead of time, like, hey, we're going live at 8:30. Come through. And here he is. We just love you, Rashad. Yeah, so I mean, we're back talking about our kind of people. We missed out on discussing episodes 9 and 10. So while we deep dive into episode 11 today, we're going to kind of be, dipsticking back to 9 and 10 as we see fit. And so I have a quick funny story. I tried to watch episode 9 in Kenya, but I couldn't log into Xfinity. I couldn't find it anywhere. It was a stressful situation for me. I tried, though. I want you to know that I tried.
You did. You reached out like, I'm trying over here. What day? And you're like, yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not happening. Not with the 8-hour difference also. Okay, I'm just waiting for my notes to pull up. All right, so episode 11. Whew. Keep in mind, next week is the season finale. So things are coming together. Loose ends are being tied, and we are learning quite a bit. So episode 11, I love the caption of the episode. It is not light we need, but fire. Whew. So the two opening scenes of this episode were breathtaking to me for so many reasons, right? So, Teddy gives Angela an ultimatum, which I think is so jacked up, but it's Teddy fashion, right? This is how he moves. And so in order for him to help Piggy stay out of prison, he tells Angela, you have to get the hell out of Oaks Bluff. I will set up a trust fund for your daughter, and I will give you seed money for Eve's crown. And just the look on Angela's face when she realized what was happening, that was heartbreaking, right? She just started opening up and warming up to her new father. So for him to be like, kick rocks, lady, the family secrets are more important than, you. Like, what did you think of that opener?
Take the money and run. What are you talking about? What? Listen, Damn. Every second Angela's talking about, I want to build, I want to make this, I want to make that for my child. I want to build an empire. He is saying, here. Again, don't get me wrong. We want to find out what happened to moms. I get it. But if I can get everything I need, because again, there's nothing guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
Even when she finds out, there's nothing guaranteed that all this is going to happen for her. So just take the money and run.
But then that goes against the whole purpose of her coming here, to find out what happened to her mother, right? So that is basically giving up. And that's just not Angela's style. I don't know if and we both know she's not going to take that option though. Like it would go against everything she's built in the season.
But again, everybody's looking at it as giving up. He's saying to go away. I can't come visit for a weekend and try to find out what's going on with my mom.
It's not visit for a weekend. No, you have to be entrenched in the bullshit to figure out what happened. You can't just come up for a weekend to do some investigative work and then go back to Boston. What?
That's right. It's just a boat ride. That's it. It's just one boat ride. That's it. It's okay. You can do it. Again, my daughter's taking care. She's trying to go to private school next year. By the way, this is the longest summer in history.
Ever.
She's trying to put her daughter said, I want to go to one of the expensive boarding schools. Right. I'm just saying, how are you doing this? This is guaranteed. We can find out what happens to your mom. I 100% am on board with that. But I think the overall picture, what she was trying to do is establish everything that Teddy is like, here's a check. There you go. Bye-bye. Bye, Felicia.
Yikes. I can't wait to see how that pans out. The second scene that was breathtaking to me was the conversation between Angela and Nate, right? So the second scene is a quick follow-up to the first. Angela, of course, she's spiraling and she's braiding this hair on this mannequin, and she's on one. She's been drinking. The music is blasting. It's 3 a.m. So Nate comes in like, yo, what are you doing? The music's loud. I thought Angela's performance, her emotional performance in that scene was beautiful. Like, I believed every second of it. I was there with her in her pain, in her taking those shots, and just her revenge, her anger. But on the flip side, Nate rolling up and talking her off that ledge. I don't know. Tyreek better watch out. Tyreek ain't doing that. Tyreek ain't there for Angela like that.
You know what?
What?
When you moved on, you moved on. Ellen, you can say it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's someone in your life, you had something, a situation happened, they were back in your life for 2.2 seconds, but you moved on. And so the scene where Nate tries to make a move at her, she gave him the old school cheek, like, oh, bob and weave. I thought it was Mike, she was, hello.
From previous episodes.
Yeah. So I felt comfortable. Again, I was going in your direction, but that helps so much. And that she just wants her daughter to have a father. So Nate can try whatever he wants at this point. That moment was the moment. Now you might say, hey, she got a couple of drinks in her at 3 o'clock in the morning. She's twisting the hair and just in her own space. Angela sometimes scares me because when I think she's matured, then old school comes back. Like, hey, let me take my ears out. I'm about to cut this. And so there's a lot of ups and downs that builds that character. So I think that's just like anybody. So yeah. To piggyback on what you just said, she really, really showed, like, I feel like sometimes like that. Oh yeah, that's me. That's what I would do. Exactly. That's what I kind of go through. So she really captures the essence of someone just going through some pain and like, hey, there's ways I can go about it, right? And treat and medicate it, right? And she did it through hair and having a drink and just wound out to music. And so there's other ways to escape that moment, but still find who you are. And so, yeah, that was a very poetic moment right there.
Yeah, and I didn't get the vibe that Nate was trying to push up. I feel like just Nate was just being Nate. Like they got history. They go way back. Like, I don't know that there's anybody better that knows her besides Piggy. And Nate seems to have, that familiarity with her where he can check her and she'll listen. Not a lot of people can check Angela and she
Yeah.
listens. So I feel like Nate kind of has that space. And that's a huge step ahead, like for Nate.
And you
And
said
so
what I said. You said what I said. I said, yo, take the money. Get out of
yeah,
here.
he sure
Go.
did. He sure did. Ugh. I mean, yeah, but how does he benefit from that? You know me, I'm always like, I don't
Why
trust
is
people.
everybody got to benefit? Why is everybody? Come on, Ellen. Why is everybody got to benefit? You're just getting back in here, and you already on the benefit. Everybody got to benefit. Why can't just
Listen,
Nate be a good guy?
Ellen's gonna Ellen. Ain't nothing changed.
Uh-huh.
But we shall see. All right, so Raymond, I'm loving the evolution of Raymond. Like he is now regaining his confidence. And you and I chuckled about this yesterday when he made an offer to Leah for her to leave Franklin Holdings and join him at Darwin. And Leah was like, honey, that's not even an option. I was like, ouch. But I think it's insane for Raymond to think that Leah would leave a sure thing for an unsure thing. As a dude, like, is that fair? Like, is that the expectation?
No, I think it's anybody, right? I've worked to this point. You mean I got to start and do it all over again? You know, it's the best analogy I could do is like if you took the bar in New York, now you move to California, I got to take the bar all over again. You're really considering your options before the move. And that's what I consider. That's how I equate it to. It's like, hey, this is great, and we can start something here, but then I got to do it all over again. The work I put into this company. And it's family too. Not only did I put the work into it, but it's family owned as well. That
Yeah.
says a lot. That resonates a lot more than what he was bringing to the table. It's like, and he needs to let that go. It's like his little car. Hey, baby, oh my baby, this is my baby right here. Man, you need to move on and just get with the show. And I get it that male ego of like, you know what, that was mine. I started that. I built that. But you can build new things. You can always build new things, and I think that's the hardest thing. You're saying Raymond's growing, right, and coming out of his shell, but in a way, I think he's kind of becoming this guy that it's going to be destructive at the end of the day, because again, he's looking out for him. He's not looking out for he says looking out for family, but really it's about him.
I mean, he threw his mama to the curb, so we already know. He told Olivia, like, look, you are not about to be the boss of anything over here, so just stay in your place. Damn.
I was waiting for the smack. Listen, I was waiting for the smack heard on TV. They let it go, but that would have been an amazing scene.
But, for Olivia to respond the way that she did in episode 10, when she said to him after he told her, like, it ain't happening, she says something along the lines of, can you just be a good boy for me? And I was like, he's a grown ass man. Why are you talking to him like that? And so his reaction was kind of like, kick rocks, lady. I'm about to run this. I don't know what to tell you. Go sit down somewhere. And I don't know that Olivia is in the best frame of mind to be running anything, whether it's the Gracities, whether it's Darman. I don't know. I'm not really feeling Olivia. She's an elitist. She has it out for Angela. She hated Eve, Angela's mother. Like, she's consumed.
She just reminds me of one of those old folks that hasn't let it go. And she holds on to grudges like luggage. And she, I still got this in the closet here. I got 20, 40 years of your stuff in here. I'm not gonna let it go. It's right here. Check the receipts. And so that brings her damage to her credibility as a person and where she wants to grow. But I think you also reach a point in your life to like, you know what? She feels she's owed something and she was cheated out a lot of that stuff. And so because she was cheated, she's like, I'm going to try to find any way now that I can get my own right now. And so, hey, my hat off to her to try to do that, but there's better ways. And also as a parent, right? When do you become when do you let your child grow? Right? You always see parents that, oh, that's still my baby. I'm like, your baby's 50 years old. Like, like let that person
Right.
grow and then respect them as the adult they've become. And so I think that's hard for a lot of parents to kind of see that.
And she's consumed with the past and how her husband kind of iced her out of being a part of the company back then when she tried to, and it failed when everything hit the fan with Eve. So she's bitter about that. And she had high hopes that her son would come save the day, but he's just like his daddy, apparently. So Rashad said something really funny and also accurate. He said, Lee Daniels has mommy issues because all his all his matriarch characters are a satchel of nuts. That is so true. Because sure enough, in Empire, Lucia's mother, she was in a nut house. She was certifiable, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also this. So it's interesting. That's a
That's a nice job, Rashad. You know what? I guess the women in his family did a number to him.
I guess it's yeah, art imitating life for Lee Daniels. Shout out to Lisa May who's in the building. I'm
Lisa,
freezing
Lisa.
up. Lisa, I'm freezing up a lot. Is it just me? I don't know, Lisa. Is it just you?
You
Drop a
are
note.
free. You're freezing up though every now and then.
I am.
Yeah, yeah. You're good now, but you've done it 3 times.
Oh dear. Okay. I can't. It's unavoidable.
But you're good. You're good now.
All right, cool. All right, so moving on. Leah and Angela. Whew. This was heartbreaking. This was heartbreaking to see what transpired in episode 10 because they had gotten to such a beautiful space as sisters.
Woo.
I was just giddy and over the moon about the love and respect that they have for each other. And then Leah had to listen to Teddy and ice Angela out of the Grey Cities. And so episode 11 is now, the fallout from that. And so what I thought was interesting when Leah shows up at Eve's crown, I guess, to either apologize or make amends. I don't know. Leah says to Angela, your agenda was going to end up hurting my mother. Angela's response is, my mother is dead. Your mother is alive and well. You be grateful for that. So how insane is it at the end of this episode, Leah's mother dies, right? So if that was the only thing, that was the one thing that made Leah do what she did to her sister. Now that it's out of the way, is she going to renege and now side with Angela, go against Teddy? I don't know. Is that too
So
far
there's
out?
2 parts. I have 2 parts to that answer. You know, again, it's to Angela's growth, right? Angela normally would have been like to Leah and said, "Hey, you screwed me, But no, she grew up in that moment and said, "Hey, you know what? I understand. You did it for Daddy. Let's move on." And I was like, "Oh, I was like, okay, all right, all right, all right." She still should have took the money, but anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But then at the end, I don't want to fast forward too much because we're going to that. But when they do hug each other at the end of the scene, you know, and she says, "Hey, Dad, get out of this." Yeah, I think you're creating a monster. But to go back to Raymond's ego and Teddy at the same time. I don't know, man. I think you have a good thing, and Raymond called his wife out. He said, "Yo, you don't even realize what your dad's doing. He's a wool in sheep's clothing. I mean, how many times do I have to tell you?" And so she's like, "No, that's not Dad. That's not Dad. Like, he cares about me." She always constantly says, Leah always says, he cares about me, his family. And he's like, could you open your eyes, please, and see what this man keeps on doing?
The only person that Teddy cares about is Teddy.
That's it. And so sometimes it takes something at home to really, resonate with you so that you're like, you know what? Let me wake up. This is the part where I get it now. Ding, 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 ding. That epiphany moment. So I think she had that epiphany moment. It sucks that she had to do it when her mom passed. But, sometimes it almost has to come down to the end for you to like realize, wow, what am I doing?
I need Leah to recognize that Angela is her strongest ally in all of this. Not her daddy, not her husband, not her kids, nobody. But Angela is her strongest ally. And I can't wait to see what comes from that, right? Like I need Leah to have the same allegiance that she has to Teddy for Angela, because the two of them together could do some serious, serious good damage. So hopefully,
That's what Leah should go into, though.
right.
If you really want to forget
Yeah,
Raymond's business, if you want
right.
to jump in on a business, this is the business you want to get into. Hair go always going to be here, you know.
Yeah.
But you know what? And that was such a beautiful scene. You know, I think I talk about it every episode that they always pick something out where they really encapsulate who we are as Black people, and they
Mm-hmm.
show just the even when it's an ugly side, it's still beautiful, right? Whether it be the music, the outfits, just certain scenes, just hitting just right. I mean, they always wind up to do it in every episode. So shout out to Lee Daniels again for making this episode, all the episodes that we're doing 3 in 1. But there's always that scene that I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be the new thing. When COVID calms down, this is gonna be the theme here. This is gonna be the theme here. You're gonna constantly see this and how it all comes together. So, it's beautiful when you see two Black women on screen that love and respect each other. Listen, the Black women are the most unstoppable people in the world when they can trust each other. So if Angela and Leah can trust each other, woo, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
That's good. Episode season 3, maybe season 3. I doubt that's going down in season 2, but who knows? They might surprise us. All right, so Aunt Piggy. Woo! So our boy Darnell Williams comes and makes an appearance, and you were yesterday when we spoke. You were like, "Yo, you know who that is, right?" I'm like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" So all my children, for those that watched soaps back in the day and till this day, all my children, Debbie Morgan was an MVP back in the day. And so was her boo in the show, Darnell Williams. They were coupled up, right? In All My Children?
Yeah, so they play. Darnell played Jesse Hubbard, and she played Angie Baxter on All My Children. Yeah, man, that blue. I was like, you don't understand. I'm looking. I'm like, because she's like looking, but again, that's another beautiful scene. So here's the thing: watch that scene again. It's on demand, but that all my children view that look, and it made me look just like her. I was like, wait a minute, is that like all my children? And I was like, oh, so she's being blown away by someone she thought she killed, died, and now I'm being blown away as the viewer because I, as a child, when I had sick day at home. My mom, I'm not soap opera person. My mom made me do it. All right, I'm sorry. My mom made me do it. But anyway, those were our Black people. Those were before the Cosbys. They were our Black people. And so in the soaps. And so, oh my God, I was like, yes, it's a reunion. And I was like, I lost my mind. It was beautifully done. Oh man, it's great.
All My Children was my sister's favorite soap opera back in the day. I mean, she, this I was obviously when VCRs were in the mix. And so this was taped over and over and over
again. We are
old.
We are very old. We are very
So Lisa, I thought of you when I realized that he was from All My Children. So I mean, and the way Piggy responded to your point, to this man who she thought was dead, the way she responded to seeing him, that felt so real. Like I thought it was authentic. Could you just imagine somebody you thought you killed? And he walks into a party. Wasn't this the party she was having?
Yeah, she was turning it up. He was like, give me one more. I'm going to prison tomorrow, but hey, girl, give me one more drink. I'm like, what are we doing?
Oh my God. Right. So she's getting ready to go to prison, or thinking she's going to prison. She's having a farewell party, and she's going to prison for the murder of Darius. And Darius walks in the damn party. Right. And so, that I thought that was played out really, really well. And so the whole premise behind Darius and him now being alive was apparently Teddy wanted Piggy to believe that Darius was dead. Apparently that was the only way to get Piggy clean. But are we forced to believe that Teddy cared that much about Piggy's sobriety? Like, I found that to be a little interesting and hard to believe, but it might just be me.
Teddy holds receipts. Teddy holds receipts. He's like, I got a receipt. You clean? That's me, baby girl. That's me, Piggy. That's me.
Right, because
Just
now she's
saying.
because now she has to,
You
sort
didn't
of.
kill anybody and you're clean.
So now she has to eat humble pie and apologize to Teddy
Ooh.
for all the anger and resentment she's had towards this man
It's
for God
not.
knows how long. Yikes. Which is interesting because as now that Angela is like hating Teddy again, Piggy is going to start like not aligning herself with Teddy, but she's not going to be anti-Teddy as much as she was before. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic because usually Piggy has been supporting Angela's plan to get her revenge or to get whatever it is she needs from Teddy. So now she might be the voice of reason in a positive way in Angela's ear. I don't know, but that's going to be interesting to see. And then Darius gives Piggy Teddy's old gun. I thought that was kind of gangster. So you held on to it for however many years since 1984. And so is it your understanding that that was the gun that was used to kill Eve, or is that speculation?
Well, it's speculation, right? Because we still don't know what happened, right?
Right.
And so we're still learning that out. But it's involved in something.
So you think it's something that could take Teddy all the way out?
I mean, for him to hold on to it for that long, it has to be, right?
But Darius didn't know what the gun was used for.
Yeah, again, but he assumed the reason why he gave it to him and never asked for it again, it had to be something very important. So even if
Right.
it's not about her mom, it could be something even bigger.
Possibly. All right. So moving on. Raymond and Tyreek's alliance. Whew. I don't know that I ever thought that these two would have a moment on this in this season, but I'm kind of glad that they did, and I'm glad that we got a glimpse of of how the beef started in boarding school, right? Rich kid, poor kid, Tyreek being the poor kid whose schooling was funded by Teddy. Apparently something went down in boarding school and he was falsely accused of stealing something, and Raymond never stood up for him. So Tyreek has held on to this grudge all this time. So now when Raymond, because he has his own agenda, is trying to warm up to Tyreek is kind of like, get out of here. You were a dick to me in boarding school. I'm not helping you. But then Tyreek changes his mind and decides to help Raymond take down Teddy. Do you trust Raymond? I don't know. I'm torn. Like, I feel like Raymond's motives are genuine just based on what he's saying to Tyreek, but do you believe him?
I do. I still believe he has his own agenda. But the reason why he did some self-reflection in that moment, oh wow, man, I didn't realize how much I ignored that situation and wasn't there to help you.
Right.
And so that helplessness, think about it. We all go back in high school, minus myself, of course. But I was a nice guy. I went to all white school, so I mean, Anyway, so in high school, you always have those people that kind of felt left out, and so you didn't bring them in because you were either part of the cool people or this or that. And so people hold on to that, man. It messes them up in ways they didn't know. So to understand that, take the time, like, hey, man, I had an agenda, but now I still have an agenda, but
right.
I'm doing some self-reflection and realizing I could have been there. I could have been more of an ally for you. I could have opened up doors. Then he explained, hey, man, Jack died. We'll talk about that as well. But Jack was doing some crazy stuff in college. I had to take care of that because I was worried about my family and stuff like that. So I had to think about that first. But he owned that, right? And so that's the biggest thing, is that having that conversation and owning that. And he didn't have to say, they could just BS them like, this and that. But he's like, no, at that time. And again, we sometimes forget, when we're younger, we're not ready for that maturity or the responsible thing to do,
Yeah.
because it's not cool, right? And so now when you kind of get in your own place and find your own skin and like, oh, you know what? I'm comfortable I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. That's when you're unstoppable. And so Raymond feels like, hey, I have that skin right now. I have that layer right now. I'm unstoppable. Things are working out. If you just give me this last thing, then, sky's the limit. So I trust him for now, only because they have history. And I love that Tyreek can actually call him out. You mentioned that about Nate, about Angela. Tyreek can really call Raymond, hey, man, I know you since you were a kid. And so that's deep, right? That's big. I can see how he moves. So we'll see.
Good point. And Rashad says he might legitimately be sorry and have an agenda. Absolutely.
Yeah. I definitely, Rashad, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think the alliance though, because it was kind of shady, right? He's like, well, no, don't leave, Teddy, stay there. We
Right.
can work that. I was like, that was quick, right? He's like, no, don't leave. Um, so you got to be careful when you use someone as an inside person, because is it more for you guys as a team, an alliance, or is it more for your benefit? And so we'll see, I guess, as episodes grow.
Because Raymond is pulling a Teddy move. That's some shit
Yes.
Teddy would do. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me feel like, because Teddy has a way of making you feel like I am with you, I am for you, while he's manipulating and using you the entire time. So
Gotta
that's
learn
what
from the master.
That's true. And it's crazy how we saw Tyreek from episode 10, how he was pitching in a meeting with Teddy, and to just having high hopes of like a bright future with Franklin Holdings, to now him saying F Teddy. Right? That evolution of his emotions as it relates to Teddy, I thought was heartbreaking, but it was beautifully acted out. So, I can't wait to see how that plays out, because I think him going in that direction will put him further away from Angela, which will provide Angela the space and time to warm up to Nate. That's my prediction. Or not. Yeah, I see, because in next week's preview, and I hate that I watched the preview.
I hate that they do that. That's the only thing I hate about this show, because it's so juicy. It's just like, don't give me more juice. Just let it be. Don't show me a preview.
Yes. So yeah, so there's proposals happening next week. Like, okay, all right. Anyway, so let's talk about the beef between Lauren.
It's only been a summer, and we're seeing proposals. It's been a summer, people.
Hey,
what summer? I don't understand.
Things move quickly.
Oh my god, I need to fall in love like that. I need that summer love. I need that
Can
summer
I get
love.
proposed to in the summer? Like, oh my god,
summer
by two men,
right?
Anyway.
All right, that's another episode. All right,
that's a whole other show, Ro. All right, beef between Lauren and Quincy. Woof! I am here for this. I am here for somebody shutting Lauren down.
You never liked Lauren. You never liked
her. I don't trust her. She's the quintessential spoiled rich kid, and she plays that role to a T. But I love that her twin brother checks the hell out of her for her behavior as it relates to Simone, who's Quincy's new love interest. Simone is the granddaughter of the house manager, of the Franklin's house manager. And so it's like, she's the help, right? And so Lauren, she just can't help herself. She can't help being a bitch. And she kind of calls her out and, in a way reminding her who she is. So stay in your place, and low key accusing her of stealing somebody's purse from the beach party in a couple of episodes ago. And Simone, listen, I'm a little scared of Simone. Simone got some crazy in her just based on her responses. That beach, the what is it called? Not the beach party, but the bonfire they had in episode, was it 9 or 8?
It was 8.
Right. And so one of the girls, maybe somebody that liked Quincy, rolled up on Quincy and Simone. And Quincy introduced Simone as not the help, but just alluded to the fact that she is. And the way Simone yanked Quincy's arm and said, "Don't you ever introduce me like that again," that was really aggressive. Like, if a man did that to a woman, that would be abusive. Right. So the fact that they had Simone, like the way she yanked his arm was out of order. Go back and watch that scene, and you tell me if you saw a man do that to a woman, you wouldn't feel some kind of way about it. Because that's how I felt. Rashad, do you remember that? What do you have to say about that, Rashad? But go ahead, Ro. Or Lisa, do you remember that scene? Somebody say something.
Listen. I agree. 2022, no man should be putting their hands up on it. Women can still put some hands on it, but let them know. Hold on. Listen, it's not right. You got to be prepared to get. I think the way we kind of level the playing field is that be expected for the hands we put on you as well. That's it. That's the new 2022. Yes. I agree with you, Ellen.
Who made that rule?
No, I'm just saying that's what's going to happen now. You're seeing that more and more now. It's like, oh, you want to do that now? Well, hey, expect to get the hands on you. So
Absolutely.
now I would say to anybody, if you're going to touch somebody, I don't care who it is, male, female, whatever it is, um, you have to be prepared for things to happen. But my only point is that I was going to bring up is I'm your person, right? I'm working on something with you. She checked him to be like, yo, so I'm the help. So what's going on? You talking about this and that? I'm trying to get you out of this. You to follow your dream. I'm encouraging you to be the best you could be, and you're gonna come to me and say like, oh, she works. What? And
Well,
that's a check.
how else should he have introduced her, other than this is Simone? She works for my family. She
What do
works
you
for
mean
my
she works for
family.
my family? No, this is Simone. She's my friend. That's it. That's
Okay,
it. That's it.
I agree with you there, but that doesn't justify her reaction to him saying that. So in my mind, that lets me know she has a complex about that. She's willing to do anything to not be seen as that, and she might be grimy. She might have stolen that purse that Lauren
Wow, Ellen.
that
Wow,
Lauren accused her of.
listen, she's been programmed, Ellen. Ellen, she's been programmed to be the help. And that has been ingrained in her brain that she is the help and that's it. Her grandmother said, hey, you don't fraternize with that and that. So it's already been embedded in her DNA. And so it is hard to fight that, right? I want to be seen as this. I want to be seen as that. I mean, we can go back to the days of slave, that, hey, you
Okay,
to
let's
help.
not
I'm
do
gonna have a good time on the side. So that's already been out there. I think she has every right to check him. Yes, should she have gone about it in a better way? Of course. But
absolutely.
if it was grown adults, like if it was Raymond and his wife, and then check him like that, that's a totally different conversation, right? Because we're adults now. We express ourselves in different ways. We can talk about it. But as a teen, again, I'm not justifying it, but her grabbing him up is like, hey, and he should have said like, hey, you know what? I was wrong, but don't ever grab me up again. And there was a
Yeah.
time to correct it right there on both sides. Hey, I understand I was wrong in that moment, but at the same time, don't ever grab me up again.
So it's
That's it.
not so much that she checked him, it's how she
Yes,
checked him that's the
I
issue.
agree.
Absolutely right. He should have been checked. But the way she went about it, in my
Yeah.
mind, made me feel like, okay, she got a chip on her shoulder and something's up with her that's not good. And Lauren sees that for whatever reason, but because Lauren has done such a shitty job misjudging and judging people, we're kind of looking at Lauren like you're doing too much. But something's up with Simone. I'm willing to put my left nostril on it, but we'll
You're
see.
willing to forgive. So here's the crazy part. This is how society has embedded this in our brains. That the rich folks are allowed to backstab you behind closed doors, but you got the help. The whole the help is like just checking you right in front of you. I'd rather be checked or know who you are and your character is right in front than what Lauren would have done. Lauren would have done some crazy stuff behind your back, and so that's what I'm saying. It's like there's layers to it, but that's I think the bigger picture of it is like, hey, you know what? We're calling these people this because of how they're out in front of in public, versus the higher echelon. They're gonna get you, but they do it behind closed doors. Honestly, where I'm at in my life, I'd rather know who you are right in front, and then
Show
go
me
from
you're
there.
crazy.
Yeah, show me your crazy. At least, hey man, I remember that time.
I get
Versus
that.
like, I gotta look behind my bed every night, underneath my bed every night, be like, is she gonna kill me later? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Listen, we shall see. But Rashad ain't feeling my analysis. He says, wow, that was a leap, Ellen, but
Right?
okay, LL.
Right?
Hey,
Thank you,
listen,
Rashad. Thank you.
but hey, listen, she might have a chip on her shoulder because she is the help. So maybe she is low-key psycho. Check the kitchen for boiling bunnies in a pot. Exactly. The latter statement, exactly.
She doesn't like Lauren. She never
Simone
liked
ain't
Lauren's
wrapped too
bullshit.
tight.
You ain't like Lauren since episode 2. Leave
What I'm
Lauren
talking
alone.
So
Free Lauren.
Simone ain't wrapped too tight. I said it. We're gonna have this conversation when we come back.
Wow.
Listen.
Wow. And you get a little I said it in there. All right. All
Okay,
right.
listen. All right, moving
All
on.
right. I'll leave it.
Taylor, Lauren, and Nikki. Now, so the funniest thing about this trifecta is the conversation they had the morning after, the night before. And what does Lauren's crazy ass say to Taylor?
Hey,
what is
man, it's not cheating if it's with your ex. I listen,
I
ladies and gentlemen,
vindicated.
let me tell you something right now. Every man has done this at one point in their life. I'm gonna apologize for all the men out there. I'm sure some ladies have done it as well. But the teens got away with it. I think you could only do this with two ladies and young. Otherwise, the grown folks would have said this on TV and be like, "Oh, that's what we're doing." Everybody would have had to check themselves. But at one point, every male has allowed this to happen to them at some point in their lives. Like, well, I'm not really cheating with somebody new. It's somebody I used to hook up with, so it's not really.
Yeah.
It's recycling, right? It's just, Anyway, that was funny though. I laughed. I laughed out loud. I was
I can't believe they included that. It had to be a dude to write that bullshit, but okay.
Well, Ellen came back with the loaded gun. She's ready to go. Shoot. Shots fired. Ellen is shooting shots. Everybody. All right.
But this goes back to what I've been saying all season. My distrust for Taylor and how she's moving kind of came to fruition in this. Like, she's been basically faking the funk to some degree with Nikki. And then all of a sudden she's ready to break up with Nikki just because now, let me go back. Nothing brings two exes together than a dead body, right? Because all of a sudden Jack dies, Lauren and Taylor find the body or see the body, and now all of a sudden it's a trauma bond, and I'm ready to wreck my current relationship for this relationship because it was we were each other's first. Like, come on, Taylor, make up your mind what it is you want.
I think we need to learn what's Taylor's background and where's she from. You're right.
Right. She needs more of a storyline.
Because Simone getting thrown under the bus out here. Let's see where Taylor's from, because she's playing a lot of people right now. She's having her cake and eating it too. Which Taylor is a dude, by the way. Taylor is a young dude that is just having a good old time. She's cheating. It's not cheating with your ex. Working both sides back and forth, feeling the vibe on this side. It's like, ooh, all right.
And of course, Nikki is picking up on the vibes that Taylor is dropping. I mean, for her to say "I love you" and for Taylor to be like, I'll talk to you later. Like,
that was another dude moment too. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, girl, yeah. I'll call you. Let's break it up. All right.
That was
I appreciate you. You're beautiful. Yeah. You great. You great.
So what do you think about Lauren kind of being the voice of reason in this and saying, you know what, let's not put this out there yet. Let's preserve Nikki's feelings for as long as we can. Do you trust that? I don't trust that shit. But what do you think?
Again, you don't like Lauren, but I think no. Lauren's like, hey, I wanna now. I trust my cousin. I have another sister. Technically, I have like a sister, right? No, because I think she's seeing the bond that her mother's having with Angela, and she's like, I haven't had that. I kind of was in a relationship where it wasn't comfortable. My mom wasn't even comfortable with it, and neither was grandma. And then now I'm coming out of my skin and trying to come into my own person. And at the same time, the ups and downs of that, right? Falling in love, and at a young age, what is really love and that and all that stuff. So trying to figure that out. Again, this is the longest summer I've ever seen in the history of any show to go down. So it's very complicated. So again, the fact that she even brought that up, hey, I feel bad. That one hot moment shouldn't ruin it. But Simone checks her, right? Later on, Simone calls her out. Hey, I saw you with Taylor, so I think you need to mind your business.
So the reason I'm chuckling is, in addition to what you're saying, Rashad just dropped a comment that is freaking hilarious, but I got to figure out how to rephrase the one word. So he says, listen, Taylor's all over the bluffs looking for Poontang in the daytime with the flashlight. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. That's exactly what she's doing.
Listen. She's ready to go. Again, some people about that summer, that's the only reason I know it's a summer still, because Taylor's like, yeah, you know what? We got one more week left. I gotta get out of here. Hey.
Listen, Taylor is on demon time, legit demon time. Like all we need is just another chick to come into the mix, and it's over for Taylor.
I mean, remind me of college, that last day. Anyway,
the good old days.
Graduation day was like, hey, I'm out. See you tomorrow, baby.
Exactly. So Teddy and Raymond. Yikes. So Teddy, of course, in his old regular fashion, he's digging into Jack's death to find something that will force the police to reopen the case and rule it as a suspicious, right? Because that will help stall the transfer of Jack's shares to Raymond. So you can only imagine the insanity that's about to come on Raymond now that Teddy found out that the key card, Jack gave the key card to his daughter, Leah. And so because we know Teddy is me, he's going to use that to get at Raymond because he's already thinking Raymond had something to do with the death of Jack, right? He has no idea that it was Olivia, but even though that was accidental, how it went down with Olivia, that was accidental. But I can't wait to see what Teddy does with this new information, with Leah having the key card and how he's going to use that to his advantage. I think it's interesting that both men are willing to risk, ruin, damage everything in their sight to get what they want. And Leah is in the middle of it, the daughter and the wife. I think that's so tragic. My hope is that Leah will rise above it, will come above it and figure some shit out that's just going to put her at the forefront, going back to our earlier point, her and Angela teaming up and shutting things down over here with the men. What say you?
Yeah, I think the event where it's all going to go down is when they present again later at the cotillion. And so I think there's a surprise going to be there for
what cotillion?
Sorry, at the event where they give the money away. They already picked the people, but I think there's another event after that. Or no, am I wrong?
Even though Angela's not a part of it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be like a surprise thing now, like try to get Angela involved in another way. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the surprise. Like, boom, Angela's involved. Because that bond has just grown so much. Is Teddy healthy now?
I guess Teddy's fine now.
I don't know. Is Teddy still dying? Because someone let me know. He been fine the past 3 episodes. He's like, hey man, I'm good. He
hasn't had not one shake, not one.
Right? I mean, I don't know. So,
but didn't his doctor find some sort of trial drug or something that could quell?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We went from like on deathbed to like, hey, I feel great. Everything's good. So with that being said, Teddy has his own agenda as usual. His daughter and Raymond, I think finding out that there's a key card now, because we're gonna get into the funeral later, but that scene I think is gonna play a huge part in how he makes his decision on that news. So if Raymond acts out of pocket, if Leah acts out of pocket, I have this. I know you were there. So again, I don't need to know what's going on. But if I say this to the police, we forget the bigger picture, right? Raymond took that extra cup out of the room.
Right.
So we don't know. It's like there was 3 people there. They definitely know there was 3 people there. But who was that third person? So even though we know it's his mom, it could have been. People saw that Jack gave her the key card. So it just everything falls into place. So it's another card that Teddy has, and he has to decide. Now you're going to really see Teddy's true colors. Does he throw his daughter under the bus? And how does he manipulate Raymond with throwing his daughter under the bus? And then I think you're going to see the test of Raymond as a husband. Am I willing to sacrifice and just lose my business completely and go in a different venture?
No, he's not. Raymond is Team Darman. It's his father's company. Leah will be left in the wind. Lisa May seems to think that Leah's going to stand by her man. I don't think so, Lisa. I think once she, okay, my prediction is, Teddy will use the information of Leah getting Jack's key card against her. And that move will force, and Raymond, however Raymond reacts to that, I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be a positive reaction. And so that's going to force Leah to make her own move. And I don't think it's going to align with Teddy or with Raymond, because those two are for themselves at this point. Nobody is for Leah. So I don't know that Leah's going to stand by her man in this. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So we shall see.
You're never wrong. You're like 0 for 5. Her stats in the show are great. In the show are great.
Maybe love will prevail. I don't know nothing about that, so I can't co-sign that at all. Okay, so as we wind down, we've saved the best for last, rightfully so. So, Leah's mother comes into the fold in this episode in a really beautiful and poetic way. And we see some closure, we see some resolve between Leah and her mother. And then we also see what looks like resolve and closure between Rose, Leah's mother, and Teddy during that dance that they do and that kiss that they share. I didn't trust any of that. And then Rose, later on that day, or was it the morning? I don't remember. Leah finds her mother dead in a chair. You're right? Like she, I guess, thought she was taking a nap and she's calling her mother's name and she doesn't wake up. That's all very suspicious, right? And we talked about this yesterday, and we kind of had disagreements on this. So she comes to visit her daughter to spend this day with her because it's a special day as it relates to the Gracities, and she knows that she's gonna die. Like, how does she know she's gonna die that day enough to write a letter to say this is goodbye? I'm moving on. Like, I'm a little confused about that. Can you shed some light, Rashad, Lisa? Can y'all shed some, your own light?
Ellen, as we spoke about this before, people know when they get to a certain age, they just know. Listen, I know it sounds crazy. But I have. Luckily, I still have my parents, but I know people that lost their parents, and they literally felt it, like they knew that this was it. And so she told her, and that's why it's kind of hard for me to believe in the foul play, because she said, "I wanted to see you one last time," and then Leah says, "No, Mom, I want to do this more with you." So I was like, "One last time,"
right?
And then she walked in the room. I thought it was pills, right? She just overdosed on pills. But again, because again, she was taking her meds, right? Remember, the constant conversation was, "Oh, mom's taking her meds. She's better now. She's going through this now." So I was like, oh, okay, maybe she just OD'd on meds on purpose. I still thought it was on purpose and by our own, in her own way, that she was like, "Hey, listen, I'm going to be in control of how I go out, but I just wanted to do this one last time." And so that's why I took it in such a different manner.
That's a strong possibility, Ro. That is a strong possibility.
I hear a lot of holes in what you just said. Yeah, sure. That sounds right.
No, because it didn't dawn on me that she might have taken pills at the beginning of the day before she got to the house and knew that, all right, by a certain amount of time, this is going to be my last hour, my last, how do you gauge that? That's weird. If I take a bunch of pills at 8 a.m. and time it.
Oh, if you've been taking pills that long, you know your pills. If you're taking pills that long, you know what these pills do.
Really?
Okay. That was a beautiful scene. So once again, there's two beautiful scenes. That scene, they have the old record player. And it's like the conch comes out, the old shells, like that big conch that comes out. I forget what those are called, actually. But anyway, it's beautifully done. They zoom in on that, and then you hear the record, and it's an old song, and I was like, oh my God. You know what? I want to thank Black Film again. I want to thank you, Ellen. There's so much history when I'm reading a book a week, and from all the things we've done. Black culture resonates in everything we do. Like, everybody, the book I'm reading now, he's picking things from Aretha Franklin. You see this energy that we have just go through everything we do, and it's such a beautiful thing. So anyway, that moment there, I'm thinking about when we saw what's name. Sorry, I'm all over the place. But what's name's last film, the Chadwick Boseman and my Rainey's bottom. And
Black
so it
Bottom.
reminded me that scene, right? When they zoom
Oh,
in,
yes.
yeah. And so it just boom, my brain just went, oh my God, that it captured a moment for me. So once again, beautifully well done. The song was amazing. That's a classic. And then just that scene, even though if Teddy wasn't really into that, it was just a beautiful moment to have a last
It
moment
was.
with your wife and someone that you started something with.
And it was a good
So
way to tie a loose end, right? A good way
yeah,
for Teddy to get to apologize and connect with her and share that very special moment. And then for Leah to see her parents have that moment, I thought that was very instrumental in her healing to some degree. But then that's disrupted when her mother dies, and then there's a spot of blood on the pillow. So where's the blood come from?
again, sometimes when you're taking stuff, you cough up blood, and maybe.
Right. So, because it wouldn't make sense if somebody had something to do with that and just leave the pillow with the blood stain on it right there, right?
Yeah. So again, this show just does whatever it wants, and sometimes it just.
Right. Well, we'll find out something next week. Hopefully
But the letter though, that's big.
And then the handwriting in the letter, it was too perfect. Like it, I'm feeling like Teddy wrote that.
Did you think Teddy was gonna go back into the room?
For a split second,
right? I was like, oh, I got a call. We go. I was like, was Teddy going back?
Because I think I was thinking he saw what Leah put the letter and then the pillow in that little drawer, so he wants to go see what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teddy has something to do with that. I promise you, Teddy. Because the fact that the mom was in the house, he was livid that she was in the house. So how do you go from livid to all of a sudden you're okay with everything with her, right? Like they're just trying to pull the okey doke on us, but that's neither here nor there. So Rose dies, and then the episode ends with this beautiful funeral. Oh my God. I remember watching that 2 times and feeling like, oh, death is beautiful. If this is
how I want to die.
This is how I want to go out. This is how I want to be celebrated in Oaks Bluff with a line of black luxury cars pulling up and just beautiful black people in black. Like, it was stunning visually. Oh my God. I know you also felt some type of ways about it. So share some of that.
Yeah, Teddy's black on black double-breasted suit. I was like, "Ooh, player! All right, I see you." But again, another moment Lee Daniels does is when all the women get up and they start singing, and that energy. Oh my God, it reminded me of Aretha, and then just you felt that kind of energy of the death and black folks. That's one of the things. A funeral and a party, it is like a party. And one person can get up and say a word or hum something, and we're like, it's like, ooh,
yeah.
I felt that loss with you, and that's beautifully done. And then the yellow roses, oh my God, that touch, that splash of color in there, that little splash of color, just it was so beautifully well done, well written. And then she speaks after that, right? That scene when she kind of says her last words to her mother, and you kind of hear her with the background of the music. That was well done as well. So yeah, hats off to the show. It always does a good job. And then you see her run to Angela at the end, and that scene. And Angela wasn't going to come, right? She originally talked to Nikki, and Nikki's like, they're still family. I'm still going to go. And Angela's like, yeah, they ain't family to me anymore. And then she shows up, and you look, and that nice pan, in that scene in the open area, and she's just like there, and she just puts her arms out, and then you can tell that real sisterhood right there. It was genuine. It was a very genuine moment. And she's like, Teddy, chill, back up.
Because what was
And
Teddy coming to do? Like, what was he walking up to do? Like, to embrace
I
them
think he was gonna.
both? Like,
I want to hug my daughters. I want to hug my
beat
daughters
it,
because now
beat it.
both their moms are gone.
Get out of here.
Wait,
And you had something to do with both of their murders. Beat it. So I love that
what? Yeah,
Angela was like,
how you gonna pin another murder on the man? He was what?
easy. And I love that Angela was like, yo, stay back. Stay
Yo, that
back.
hand.
Teddy.
I ain't seen a hand like that since like when I was a child. Like oh.
And Teddy stopped in his tracks, like, "Ooh, let me bring it on back," and that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what he did. I love how Leah fell into Angela's embrace, right? Like,
Yeah, that was a hug.
you
That was
just saw,
definitely.
like, that was what she needed in that moment, is her sister. Because who else to understand the grief that I am experiencing, that my sister, who also lost her mother, right? So I'm hoping that was an opportunity for them to begin making amends, now that they have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
So fingers and toes crossed that's what would do it. And really quickly, going back to Quincy and Lauren as they're sitting down, and Lauren tries to console Quincy, and Quincy's like, "Get off of me." I love that. I love that Quincy has a voice now. I love that Quincy has a storyline now, because he's emerging as a solid character, a layered character. And it's interesting because him and his father Raymond, they've had a really slow rollout, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's for something. Like, they're building this up. This season has really been about the women, with the exception of Teddy having a primary role. This season has really been about the women.
Yeah.
Right. So towards the tail end of it, Raymond's coming into his own. So is Quincy. So is Tyreek. So season 2, it's going to be on and popping equally, maybe, for the men and for the women. I don't know. And to your point, I love what Leah said to her mother. I know you've always thought that you're weak, but you're not. You're actually one of the strongest women I know. And I thought that was so beautiful and so poetic. Kudos to this show for just creating visual imagery that just remains in our psyche. Like, there's so many scenes in this show that I will always remember, for the rest of time, just because of how they were presented, and not to mention the writing and all of that. It's a beautiful show. I can't imagine how next week is going to pan out. I can't wait to come back together to talk about it.
Don't ruin this show, please.
I'm,
Our kind of people with
I'm
the
here.
unnecessary. Oh God.
I'm
focused
here
on the
for
main
those
character.
2 proposals. Let me tell you, I'm here for 2 men proposing. Do you think she's going to accept a proposal, or they're going to leave us with the cliffhanger? Yeah.
She's not. Again, it was a summer. It was summer.
You're right.
It was a summer. If we're taking rings right now, you know what? I'm proposing this summer. That's what I'm doing.
So if we could bet, who do you think she should end up with?
Neither.
But
I have to pick one.
Yeah.
Neither.
I have to pick one.
Yeah. Again, she brings a lot of drama. I said this earlier. It's like I would have left her a long time ago. It's just, damn, girl, everything's just like, is she Nancy Drew or is she Angela? Like, I don't know what's going on. It's the longest summer ever.
So, did you pick somebody or not?
You're saying I have no choice, right? I have no choice. I'm gonna pick somebody.
Right.
All
right. While you think about that, Lisa May has responded with, she picks Tyreek.
Really? Okay. All right.
Tyreek, I'm going for Nate.
I like Nate because they began something, and Nate, we kind of hear more about his story. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The guy that was that they were doing the heist with, he wasn't supposed to bring a gun. He brought a gun, and that's what happened. That's why he was in that situation. And so he always speaks on this next level, like he's learned so much. again, he just doesn't have anything to give her but just who he is. And so we have to decide at this point in your life, hey, am I willing to, it's like you're seeing this in all different levels, right? Am I willing to start from scratch? With Leah and Raymond, am I willing to give everything I have up to start from scratch? With Angela's character, Tyreek is now moving up to this next level. He's presenting stuff. So if I go back to Nate, he has nothing. Not saying it's right or wrong, but am I willing to start this all over again? And get these feelings back that lost time. So it's tough. It's really tough to decide. So that's what makes the show so intriguing.
I'm gonna go with Nate, just because Tyreek, he's on some Carl Thomas emotional shit. The way he handled his emotions a couple of episodes ago, I just didn't like it.
Wow! Shout out to Carl Thomas. I haven't heard that reference in a long time. That was wow. You went in the deep bag for that.
I did. So I don't really trust Tyreek's ability to manage his emotions. And that's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
But she had that. She's been having so much baggage this whole entire, come on, all summer.
Yeah, but she never spazzed out on Tyreek. Like, the way he showed his ass a couple of episodes ago was out of order. Angela was just trying to help him, right? And so because he doesn't have the emotional ability to deal with things a certain kind of way, that's in what we would call it today, that's a red flag in my mind. I could be so way off as usual, but that's just my feelings.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find her here on Rewind with Ellen for every Thursday.
So Lisa May says, so from one outburst, he's now emotionally unstable.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, Lisa. You damn right, Lisa. You know what it is. Don't
get one strike with Ellen, ladies and gentlemen. You get one strike. After that, whoa, you all messed up. That's it.
At this stage, in our age, your emotions got to be managed. You got to know how to handle conflict and confrontation. Like, come on,
there should be a test that you could put down with a dating app or something like that. Like, hey, if we're out in this club, or, we're in a situation, what would you do? Right? Just a small little questionnaire. Like, what would you do when keeping it real goes wrong? Like those things.
No, Lisa, he was not passionate. He was irate. He was
defensive.
He was
okay,
not.
We got in this show. Ellen and Lisa about to go at it.
That wasn't passion, Lisa. That was somebody that just didn't know how to handle anger. But you know what's funny? Rashad says Tyreek is a bit on the emotional side, but I'm toxic, so I thought it was hot. I know that's right. I know that's right, Rashad.
I love you, brother. I love you, man. You're funny. You're funny, man.
That's the realest thing anybody could have said, and I get it, Ra. I get it. All right, Lisa, you're playing devil's advocate, but you know good and damn well that sort of outburst, you would be acquaintance. It would be done for this dude. So
maybe she's like Rashad. She likes the toxicity, and likes to mix it up a little bit.
All right, listen, we are going on 2 hours. We need to wrap this bad boy up, or move it to Instagram or something. I don't know. But any last words on this episode?
No, can't wait for next week. Please, Lisa, come back. Bring your clip. Rashad as well, of course. But Lisa, bring your clip. I mean, Ellen.
No, but Lisa just dropped the comment saying, "You're right. You're right."
Okay, all right, Lisa.
Yeah.
See, that's growth. Here at blackfilm.com, we grow. We grow every episode.
We grow in an hour.
Yeah. Woo. Lisa was about to ride or die a second ago. Now she's like, you know what? You're right, Ellen. You're right.
No, I mean, I get it that she's playing devil's advocate. I appreciate that, but we know what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So as usual, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Lisa, May, and Rashad, Asain for chiming in and commenting. We love your commentary. Keep it coming. And we're looking forward to next week, season finale of Our Kind of People, episode 12. It came quick enough, bro. Thank you. I missed you. I'm glad that we're back and doing
It
what
felt like we never left, right? Just getting right back to it. Woo.
exactly. That's how
All
we
right.
know. That's how we know this is for real right here, Ro.
Chemistry. That's what they say. Chemistry.
All right, darling. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.